Wait, you're not using your bubble anymore? I might have a chance. Who knows? Oh, they're in the prison. God damn it. Well, that just means they're immobilized, right? They can still attack. I hope. Come on, don't use the bubble. Come on, don't use the bubble. Can I dispel that? No, I can't. Well, I could give them regeneration. No, I can't. Okay, well, I guess I'm just gonna focus on killing you. Just please don't use the bubble. That's all I'm asking. If he doesn't use the bubble, I have a chance. And he had better not use the bubble. Jeez. He's not supposed to use it as much as he did to begin with. Okay, keep on eating that. Man, I am winning. Jeez. For a second there, I thought I wouldn't. Oh boy. You know what? I'm gonna eat that damage. I don't even care. I'm winning this. Period. Jeez, that was close. Are you gonna bug on me now? You had better not bug on me now. I would be pissed. Completely pissed. Okay, go ahead, Black Dragons. Ah, well, finally. Jeez, that took a lot. Wow, that took a lot. And God, he kept using this thing even though he didn't. He wasn't supposed to. Yeah. Yep, cursor.
The Mother Namtaru now exists in both the spirit world and Heresh. She is now truly a goddess.
Oh dear God, what have we done?
And you are her rightful Hierophant, Anastasia. I'm glad you appointed Ludmilla as your right hand. I fear the coming times will be trying for the Spider Cult.
I owe my new position to you, Lord Vayne.
Yeah.
It's time to say our farewells, Anastasia, Ludmilla. Unless you require another service.
I'm certain we can find a chore or two for the Reaper of Souls.
I'm afraid we cannot keep the Reaper any longer. He has a Netherlord to hunt. Sandro's defeat will certainly not break his resolve.
I'll return to the Windswords. They seem to have a knack for crossing paths with Nethermoncers.
We will miss you.
And I will miss you. But at least now, I remember why.
This has been an interesting experiment full of useful teachings. A pleasant rehearsal in preparation for the opening night. I'll be sure not to make the same mistakes a second time. If I can get that close to erasing an avatar of the Mother of the Dragons, it proves even the dragons themselves are not beyond my grasp.
What? I'm just a champion? What is this? I'm getting ripped off all over the place. Air elementals are efficient, aren't they? Most damaged, yes, Black Dragons. Probably because they kept on pounding the virus, I guess I should call it. And poor Phoenixes. They took so much damage. Favorite target? Because it took forever to kill. Yeah, huh? Completion is not even 50%. I just don't care about completion. My expertise was pretty far down. I mean, I still beat the 100%, but it was close. Close. I don't know what brought me down from hero. Maybe because my expertise was in the 150% it's usually. I don't really know. What's that? Wet work. What the crap is that? Don't ask. It won't tell you. So, endgame, I guess. Alright. Yes, I win. So I beat the expansion. Let's talk about the expansion. Why not? I don't really have much time to start the DLC, to be honest. I wouldn't get very far. I mean, I got what? 10%? Not 10%. 10 minutes left. I haven't played Danse Macabre yet. At all. Sandro. Jeez, we're gonna play as Sandro. but I have beaten this as of now. So yeah. By the way, I'm gonna talk about this, but that's under all reserves because I haven't played Danse Macabre. I don't know all of the story. I know part of it from this though. So yeah, this expansion, gameplay-wise, didn't actually add much. It added a whole lot of maps to play through, obviously, but it didn't change the gameplay. It added the one faction, the Dark Elves, which are the other campaign, actually, this one. They added the Dark Elves, which the Dark Elves were alright. I like them actually. They made invisibility work in the Heroes game. That was tried before in Heroes 5, and that failed miserably in Heroes 5. Heroes 6, they got it right though. So my hat's off to them for that. Most of what the expansion brought though was lore and story, and on that front, it was also alright, I would say. The one campaign at a time. The Dark Elf campaign was okay, I guess. Actually, the story was pretty alright. I like the Ariel subplot for one. Ariel was kind of awesome actually because it wasn't overplayed. It was just a small detail that Raylag overlooked, and that just came back to bite him in the butt. Those are the problems that will haunt you the most, by the way. That's truth. The problems that will haunt you the most are the details that you will overlook, because those problems are going to rot and fester and come back to haunt you, and at that point they're going to be so much worse than what they could have been if you had dealt with them back when you could have. And that's why it haunts you, because it was like, oh, this is such a bad thing. I could have done so much better earlier, and it wouldn't have been that bad. And so that's kind of what happened to Raylag here. He just did something that was wrong. He knew that was wrong. He did it anyways. And you know, the angel in the reliquary outright tells him, you know, you're totally right. These ashes belong to you, but I'm still gonna attack you because what you did to Ariel was wrong. It doesn't matter in the end, but you know, Ariel just coming back there, it's just a small thing, but it was well written, basically, is what I meant to say. The only thing really weird about this campaign, to be honest, is that the entire campaign is a flashback of what's his face, Sorshan? Whatever his name is, who's just complaining that, oh, you know this awesome story I just told you, everyone's forgotten it. That's pretty much the entire campaign, which is weird. So weird. And somebody commented and said, well, this is maybe to explain why nobody knows Raylag in the future. Because future being Heroes 5. And yeah, maybe I guess this is the only explanation that makes sense. Explanation as to why they did that. But there was so much simpler explanation as to why nobody knows Raylag. The easiest way to explain that is just to say, oh, is that the Raylag? We thought he was just named after that Raylag because Raylag, the Raylag, died and was demonized, whatever. We know that, so we thought this other Raylag in the future was just named after him. It's that simple to explain. You don't have to make an entire campaign a flashback. That's just weird. But whatever. It was all right still. The other campaign, though, Vayne is inconsistent. I just did not like Vayne. In the first map, he's just all over the place, and he doesn't make any sense. He's just not coherent with himself. Ludmilla is coherent with herself, but she's just Ludmilla. Who cares about Ludmilla? And then Zakara, Jesus, Zakara is your tears advisor. And in the first match, she goes on. She says, "You should not have killed those children," which is okay. It's Tearsy. But then she goes on saying, "You should have kept them alive to feed on them." What? Eating children is the Tears thing to do now? That's new. Okay, I guess. Eating children, sure. That just doesn't work. And he gets a little better as the campaign progresses, but still, I kind of stopped caring about Vayne in the first couple maps, just because he was weird. I just did not get along with him at all. That's just the thing. It was kind of weird. They also introduced Belketh. Well, Belketh was probably introduced in Dosmikov, but for me, he was introduced here. Belketh was all right. I actually thought he was rather entertaining because, you know, he's an angel that turned his back on his brethren angel to do his own thing and blah 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 blah. He's still about as obnoxious as every other angel you've ever met in Hero 6, though. I thought that was rather entertaining. Belketh was pretty alright. But yeah, there's just... The story did not quite work for me. Lore-wise, however, let's get that. That was the bad part. This whole story, the story was alright, actually. It's the execution that's not there. But besides from that, that's my main criticism of this. Aside from that, lore-wise, they explored the undead lore a little more, because the undead needed that. I mean, what are they worshipping exactly? You didn't know that before. It's not Malasa, it's some kind of spider. That was a little vague, what they were worshipping. It kind of just got precise there, and it continued the work, the tempering work. I'm talking gibberish for you right now. But see, in Heroes 5, every faction was given a crystal clear picture what exactly they are. They were given kind of one characteristic, and that was what defined them. And in Heroes 5, the undead were evil. That's what they were. You had Markle, who just killed the 7 cities and then took over the Empire and crap and crap and crap. He was just being evil. Power-hungry fool, etc, etc, etc. That was alright back in H5 because they had to establish that was a completely new world they were introducing. They had to make it clear who was what. After that, you can temper and put nuances and crap, and that's what they did with H6, the whole H6 actually. They actually temper the whole religion feel of the Holy Roman Empire. Most of the people that are actually, most of the characters from the Empire in this whole game were not fanatics at all, which they were in H5. And yeah, for the undead, in the first campaign here, they were given a lot of spirituality, actually. They became some spiritual goodness, and they had a purpose, a good purpose. They are caretakers of the cycle of life and death, and that's good. You need someone to take care of that, I guess, because if that falls apart, everything falls apart. So they were kind of, they're not that evil, they're kind of there, and they're useful, you know? That's the image they got from Hero 6, but then you get to this, and boy, were they taken down a notch. I mean, what are they worshipping? That's the answer to the question that was brought here. What are they worshipping? They are worshipping the avatar of the pain, misery, suffering, nightmares of the goddess Asha. They're worshipping exactly that. That's not a good thing. That's kind of disgusting, actually. And it's a spider. Everybody hates spiders. Especially 3-faced spiders. By the way, there's three faces. Maiden, Mother, I think. Yeah, Maiden, Mother, Crone. That sounds cheesy. It actually works with the undead, just because it's a whole generation/time theme, which works well with the whole cycle of life and death thing. It kind of meshes all together rather nicely. I'm not too fond of it, but I can live with it, basically. But yeah, they kind of became a little more. They were going back to the evil a little more, and the protagonists. I'm going back to them. Protagonists, as incoherent as they were. I mean, you have the Reaper of Souls, which just happily slaughtered hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, and then he got tamer, and then he doesn't go out of his way to slaughter you. But if you're in his way, he's still going to slaughter you just as happily. He doesn't give a damn. That's your hero. So yeah, they were taken down a notch. They're not good. They're not a good thing anymore. They're just more of a, I would say, a necessary evil, which is exactly where they needed to be. That was a good point on them for this. I give them a good props for this. This was well written. The other thing they did, and that was Sandro. Sandro, I am missing half the story here. Still, the Sandro that was introduced to us here is fantastic. I love him. I love how they wrote him. Let me explain to you. The old Sandro was a Heroes 3 character, and what he was one, intelligent, but he was a manipulative kind of asshole. I want to say asshole. He's not really an asshole. He is, but he was manipulative. He manipulated a whole lot of people to help him gain power, and then when he had enough power, he just did everything himself. He took over Asia, and then he started taking over everything. He was very powerful. He manipulated people into getting himself in position to just take over everything. He was basically competent at it too. And I guess people liked him because he was competent. Bad guys, there's a tendency sometimes where the bad guy is so evil and bad and everything, but he fails because he does one critical mistake, and that's bad writing, I think. It's the main demon, but he has this huge failing that just he makes a mistake and then that's it. The best stories are the stories where the villain is very much competent and the heroes are just slightly better at it than him. It's not because the enemy makes a mistake, it's because the heroes were just better. That's the best story. That makes the best stories, and Sandro was the case. He was intelligent. He was at it. He was intelligent and powerful. It's just a coalition of heroes got together and were just barely enough to kill him. So yeah, that was Sandro. Manipulative, power-hungry, and kind of intelligent. The Heroes 6 Sandro is all that, but kind of more, actually. Because if you read through them, first off, they introduce him as someone who just wants to kind of annihilate the world, destroy the world, end the world, which is kind of... Usually that's a lazy bad guy, because motivation for that is kind of hard to do properly, but they did it. First off, they did it. He's after the dragons themselves and fate, and he wants to liberate things, but things are going to stop existing, but they're going to be free. And as he talks about at the very end, when his giant germ is hanging over us, he's like, we could write our own things. So basically what he wants to do is become a god. If you read through the lines, he's going to end this world and the gods that rule it to create another one, his own world. He wants to be a god. That's his ambition there. That's like the old Sandro who wanted to take over everything, but more. It's not just becoming the lord over this land. It's screw that world. I'm going to create my own, be my own god. It is the old Sandro, but more, and the manipulative is also there. You don't experience it quite as much as in Heroes 3, because in Heroes 3 he manipulated you. You were the one doing his bidding until you realize it's stupid. But in this game, he's not manipulating you, he's manipulating everyone to attack you. Did you notice that? When do you fight him? Straight on fight him. You fight his mirror images in the second map, when he feels like playing around with you a little. You fight one of his acolytes at the very end of the map 3, and then you fight his giant germ at the very end. That's the final boss. That's the only times you actually fight Sandro or his forces. The rest of the time, you're pretty much fighting people he manipulated to fight you for him. He's still as manipulative, and they also gave him this shapeshifter power, which they didn't invent it. Well, they invented it for Sandro. He didn't have that back in H3, but that actually works very well with his character, because back in H3, Shadow of Death was not actually a title he took, it's just the name of the expansion in which he was. In this game, he kind of takes it as a title, and this whole shapeshifter power actually gives it weight, because it gives him a presence. Even if he's not there, it gives him a presence because it creates paranoia. The people do not know if they don't know who to trust anymore. That's what this whole shape-shifting does. It really gives him this presence, like a Shadow of Death. He's like a shadow, a very heavy shadow just looming over everything. It just works very well with his character. I just love everything they did with Sandro. It's just amazing. They wrote him perfectly. Props to them for that. It was awesome. And they're gonna give us more of Sandro because Sandro is not dead yet, I think. I wasn't there during the final cutscene because there was a phone call, but he mentioned he's there, and he's like, "Oh, that was just a test. I'm gonna come back and do this for real." The usual bad guy, the bad guy wanting to say that he didn't actually lose, even though he did. But he's gonna come back. There, 1 year ago, real-time year ago, one of the people at Ubisoft responsible for this game mentioned that there's a cycle of like 3 phases in Ashan, and I don't remember the phases, what the phases are. I remember the third one being Void, and that more hints would be getting dropped about the Void, and indeed they were with Sandro. Jeez, they dropped quite a few hints about the Void being there. So I think they're gonna lead up to Hero 7 being the whole Void thing and trying to avoid the Void of Sandro, trying to stop Sandro from being insane. Really, he's insane. He just is. You don't even know if he can create. He thinks he can create something after he destroys everything. You don't even know if that's true. You don't. You just have to. You would just have to trust in him. Well, he obviously would never doubt himself, but you know, I do. Anyways, yeah, he's gonna be back. You'd bet your butt he's gonna be back in Hero 7, and I want more of him, so that's just fantastically. I'm looking forward to that. I am. So that overall, that was pretty good expansion. Just because of that, they could have wrote the story a little better in the Undead campaign, but overall, it was pretty good still. So yeah, that's about it for the expansion. Next time, there's gonna be a next time. I still haven't done these, have I? So I'm gonna start with this here on hard, but that's gonna be next time. I'm running out of time. I see my timer right there. I'm running out of time, so yeah, next time we're gonna become a pirate. The fate of the world is not gonna be hanging in the balance anymore for like 2 seconds. Till then, see y'all.